Computer said no.
Yeah, my computer said no. You called it. Yeah, I don't know. My computer just shut down. Didn't even give me a warning on nothing. But
Yeah,
interesting that happened.
there's been lots of interesting manifestations when I've been Skyping with people. We started to engage in certain subjects that are forbidden. All of a sudden, it's gone, and all different sorts of stuff starts happening. So I stopped using Skype now because. And so when I was just saying that I can marry these two videos up, and so it's no big deal. But when we look at the algorithms which are now running our lives, if you want to like get a mortgage or you want to get high purchase on a car or something, then you go and you have your credit rating checked. There isn't a single human intervention in this anymore. And so the computer has complete and utter jurisdiction over your future and everybody else's. And so this is the thing that we're going to have to learn to live with, because there's no rational application in relation to certain scenarios outside and over and above their particular criteria, which meets the desire of their particular institution in relation to society. You know, it's kind of like, there are certain circumstances when other people can't comply with, certain credit ratings and this, that, and the other. You know, for instance, if they've been ill all their lives, then they've never had a job and they've never had an income. And if they're mentally ill, for instance, and they can't operate bank accounts, but they've got to start doing something for themselves, and so they're outcasts. But in relation to the algorithms, then this we can see that all they're doing is they're looking at for keywords. They've got all these keywords that put up flags on their system, and then that's what happens. And so I haven't had any response back from my appeal, because it says in YouTube that we can respond if we want to. And if we don't want to, then we won't. And so I thought, well, somebody needs to take action in relation. Somebody needs to take YouTube to court, because what is required is a case study. It's a case which has been awarded to the individual against YouTube for violations of private property, because they've stolen 1,750 of my private property, and they're just fucking shredded it, and I want it back. And so this is a private institution that's done that. Okay, if they don't want to host my videos, if they consider that 3 of my videos violated their criteria, which is very, very vague. It doesn't say that you can't smoke DMT and do videos about it. It says you can't do stuff that's dangerous. Well, fuck me. You know, if you smoke a cigarette, then whilst you're making a video, can they block your site? If you
then that's fine.
Yeah, if you're drinking a glass of whiskey, it's all fucked up, isn't it, Tom? It's all bollocks.
100%.
And so therefore then, when there's no redress to get your property back, to get my past 5 years life of work, something serious is going down. So therefore they need to be taken to court, and in a decent court of law these days, it should be proven, hang on, YouTube, you must give this person their property back. Oh, well, we don't have it anymore. Then what have you done? We shredded it. Well, therefore, you have to compensate this person. That was 5 years of his life. And so if you award this person $1.5 million, then they'll be very, very careful whether they do that again. That's what needs to happen. But it's going to take money, and it's going to take, somebody who has a lawyer as a close friend or family member or something like this that can put a lot of time and effort into it. And so, I looked at that as an opportunity for me to do something different, because I was working up to doing something different in any case. I started to build this private site because I fed up with YouTube and the trolls and the people with all their multitude of opinions. Okay, we're all entitled to opinions. It's great to have opinions. But if you want to engage in a decent, intelligent, philosophical debate about something, then you're going to need somebody that doesn't have all these biases and programs running. And so therefore, I didn't want that. And so what I've got now is I've got, a decent bunch of time-served intellectuals, who most of which have experienced psychedelics and this, that, and the other. And so it's a much better environment.
Yeah, I could imagine, because the thing with YouTube and YouTube comments is that anyone can do that. Like anyone can be a keyboard warrior and just say whatever. I don't know. Maybe it would be a good idea for you. Like you have to link your YouTube account to like, I don't know, to actually see your face and who you are or something like that, instead of like, I don't know, fucking Boogie 9752 or whatever it is. Because it's so easy to troll. It's so easy to troll, and a lot of people. Don't even get me started on trolls. Like that's why I can see why you got attracted to doing what you're doing now and having a richer community.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I considered that I was just flogging the dead. And
Yeah.
in view of the fact that when you start to think along lines that not everybody is human, then of course you're going to come up with so much objection, resentment, and trolling, and any number of things. When you get to a certain level with your growth as a human being, let's say, then you've experienced so many things, then you know not to knee-jerk react, and you know to look at something and you contemplate it, and if you don't agree with it, then ask yourself why you don't agree with it. What is it that I don't agree with here? Okay, so if I don't agree with it, well, we've all got our own opinions and we've all got them for a reason, but do I want to go like this? I don't agree with you because you're a fucking idiot, and all this sort of stuff, and this is the energy that you get out there. But your delivery is on a much more personified level than mine. My intention was to rub people up the wrong way, to get them to look deep inside their psyche. But most people don't want to do that, you see. So therefore, I got the backlash from that. But the ones that did want to do that and do want to do that are the ones I've got now. And so it served my purpose, you know.
Yeah, it's a good way to weed out the crowd, though.
Yeah, and so that's what I did for about 6 months. I was, separating the wheat from the chaff, and so now I've got a nice tight little community. And what this community is about is getting more and more. So it's these Zoom conversations whereby we're talking about the deep nature of reality, and I'm going to be speaking with more and more reasonably. Prolific YouTubers, and I'll see if Adam wants a chat one day, and various people like that, to keep a reasonably broad variety of chats on my site, so whereby people can come and they can see a different level of engagement. Because I don't know whether I've never seen you do Zoom conversations before. Is it something that you do on a regular basis, or
not Zoom? Like I have my own podcast where I just do it over Skype, just here and there, kind of similar to what you're doing, just like interviewing people from all different walks of life. It doesn't have to be a fixed subject or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But yeah, I really enjoyed just talking to people from all walks of life with different experiences. That's kind of what I dig.
Yeah. I think it gives rise to an opportunity to delve into certain facets of what you've conveyed. And you see, I'm absolutely open to it. I'd love people to come and say to me, you're talking about these people that are not real. I mean, what do you mean by that? And I'd love that opportunity to engage with somebody which is in denial of that, because then we can sort of rationalize it out, and then maybe something more will come out of it. And the people that don't grasp what I'm saying, instead of leaving the video when I've been speaking, and they're kind of like, I don't know what this guy's on about. They've got questions of their own. If somebody in the conversation asks questions that they wanted to ask, then of course, you can level stuff out. And so, that's basically what I'm going to be doing. And I think it adds a fresh edge, rather than say like you just speaking about the things that people expect you to think about. Maybe I've asked a few questions today which people wanted to know. Think, that was interesting. How Aaron asked Tom that, and that's a different facet, you see. And you see, what I like to do is I like to get quite deep into someone's psyche and put them on the couch a little bit, as long as they're comfortable with that. Because for me, the important thing about...
My girlfriend just walked in. It's all good.
All right. You still okay, are you?
Sorry.
That's all good.
G'day.
G'day. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. And so to get into the deep levels of the psyche, you see, we can then discern what it is that has propelled people to be where we are now. And so I look at your videos and I go, okay, so this, that, this and that. And then I start to contemplate, what your childhood was like, what your upbringing was like. And you're one of the few that do mention stuff. How you felt and how your psyche was at this particular level, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
This is really, really important. It's really refreshing because the people, for the vast majority, they don't do that. And the automated ones don't do it. The organic portals and the extras and the backfill, they don't do it. They don't ever go there. It's like trying to speak fucking Chinese to them to get inside the reasons why they do something.
Yeah, it's important to know where someone's coming from, for sure. And it's not like me being vulnerable and talking about all this stuff comes easy. Like, it is hard. Like, it's easier now, obviously, but I know that's when that can catalyze change in someone else. Like, just seeing someone else being vulnerable kind of helps you learn about yourself. So
by revealing our humanisms to other people, then it enables other people to be a little bit more human. And so,
that they're not alone.
Yeah,
like we all got our shit. It's fine.
Exactly.
But we all pretend that we've all got it together. That's what's hilarious. When you go out in the Matrix and you see everyone with their suits and walking with their mobiles and yes, I've got important things to do. Like, they just pretend they've got this facade like that. They have it all together, which we don't. Like, some people have it together, but we all have our demons. We all have our shit, our insecurities, and it's fine. It's okay. It's good to admit it and just let it out and integrate it.
Yeah, and so it's a bit like seeing, the classic example is that if you work for a particular business, particularly an office environment, whereby in the office, everybody minds the P's and Q's and everybody's got the job to do and everybody's wearing their office persona. Come a Christmas party, then, the drinks are all free, everybody gets excessively pissed, and all of a sudden you see characters that you've never seen before in your life. Hang on, who the fuck's that? Who the fuck's this? And then you get the very proper older woman sitting on reception, being very polite, answering the phone, this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden she starts chasing the young 17-year-old janitor or something like this. And you're like, what the fuck? She's human after all.
It's so funny. It's so true because, like, a lot of people need alcohol to express that part of themselves, which they've locked away in the basement. And then the next day when you see them at work, they're just, kind of that reserved persona facade that they've kind of built up. Yeah,
gone back to a different face that they want to present to the world. You see, what I say about all this is I consider that there isn't just one energy dwelling within us. I mean, there's absolutely a minimum of two, because we have a dichotomous brain. We've got two parts of the brain which can work independently to one another if you cut the corpus callosum. And they've got different ideas about what they want out of life. And so that's most perplexing. One wants to do this and the other one wants to do that. And so if you look at that, then knowing that you are actually at least two people within you, there's two drives. The more experience that you've got in this world, the more things that you've encountered, then the more kind of like spiritual attachments that you get. And so if you go through life and, you've lived the full life and you've done all sorts of psychedelics and major experiences, then there's certain energetic energetic drivers within you, which make manifest as you at some stage. And so, you know, you could be Tom the psychedelic taker, Tom the video maker, Tom the lover, Tom the son, Tom the father one day, and you know, Tom the lumberjack, all these sort of things. And when you've got your shirt on and your boots on, you're a fucking lumberjack. That's what you are. And then when you take your boots off and your shirt off and you go into the pub, then you're a different thing. And this is the thing, you see, we've got role plays swapping all the time.
Yeah.
And if we're not afraid to do this, and if we're free with it, then we can allow ourselves to do it. But the thing is about
like different versions of yourself.
Yeah, just be free with different.
Yeah, and you can do it in a way where it's still authentic to you, but you're just putting a slightly different mask. Like if I was going to go to a corporate building, I'm still gonna be myself, but I'm gonna alter my personality in a way where it's gonna relate with the person I'm talking to. But it's not me being fake. I'm still being real to myself, but just amplifying certain characteristics of myself to that person.
And knowing that there's certain things that you're not going to be speaking about. And
exactly.
In a conversation, you can be speaking with somebody and maybe, you think you'd engage with this, but then no, you don't. You suppress that.
I'm like, they're not going to get it.
Yeah. And so it's like in lots of scenarios, we have a sentry. And the sentry is kind of like a sensor, and it's censoring us from revealing too much at any given stage. And so when we look at our lives then, when you look at people, for instance, commuting on the train, fuck me, their sensor's in full steam ahead, isn't it? Everybody is sensitive to the degree whereby there's people sitting next to them. You can feel the body warmth, you can smell the odor or the perfume or whatever, and yet you can't engage with them. You can't look at them in the eye. And so what do? You get your phone out, and everybody just looks down into that because we're so heavily censored these days, guided away from any personal interaction, fear of upsetting somebody by saying something that somebody doesn't agree with. I don't agree with that. You're being rude. My son's this or my daughter's that. Oh, goodness me. There's no freedom anymore.
I'm offended. That's a big one.
What's that?
Like, I'm offended. People just claiming to be offended because of one little thing that you said.
Yeah. And so it's difficult territory. So where do you think your site is going from this point forward?
Good question. I'm going more towards personal growth, kind of grounded spirituality, and just being a fully integrated human. Whatever that means, could mean a lot of things. But as much as I enjoy teaching people about psychedelics and drugs and whatever, and I'm still going to do so, but it's not going to be like my primary focus. I think all the information that you need to know is already out there. There's nothing kind of new that I feel like I can offer. And I want to focus more on the integration side of things. Because it's easy, like psychedelics, as profound as they are, any idiot can take 5 grams of mushrooms and have an experience, but it's the integration phase, which people struggle with. And it's the most important, you know?
And so, so when you're saying that, then are you going to be making videos of about your everyday psyche, how you are integrating your experiences into life, and when you meet people and you get certain reactions from them and you get certain reactions, are you going to be doing this, or do you mean you're going to be integrating it on a personal level and not talking about it?
I guess a bit of both, but I'm just going to be careful, because what I've done in the past is, like, you know, I'll have a psychedelic trip and then I'll make a video about it, you know, a few days later, but without having time to fully process it myself and contemplate it. I just want to spout it to the world, which can not be useful, I think.
I've been guilty of it. You know,
yeah, it's fine.
Almost every time I do it, because I do my videos in real time, because what I want to do is I want to convey to people what is happening within one of these experiences, because the vast majority of people, you just get speaking after the event. It could be weeks or months after. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't cut it. I need more information. I want to know exactly how you was feeling and how you responded to it, because that's the real thing that I'm looking for. I'm not just looking for, I looked in the mirror and I was all this and I was all that, and my girlfriend thought I was this and that. I don't think it's touching people. If you're going to touch people, then you've got to do like what you do and like what I do. We talk from our core how terrifying on occasions, or how emancipating, or how exhilarating. Because you see, what I'm about is I'm about trying to bring back the humanism to the human being, or at least I'm trying to sift out which ones are which. And this is the thing these days. I mean, on my side, I've still got some that I don't consider are human in the real profound sense. And what I mean by human is having the ability to be able to express yourself in any given scenario. If you can't do this, are you fucking human? If you go through life and you're so inhibited and you're so scared and you're so traumatized and you don't say anything to anybody, are you human? This is a question I'm asking. I'm saying, no, you're not human. And so I don't want you non-humans on my site, because my site is about expression. Like you say, really feel what it's like to be a human being. Express yourself, for goodness sake, particularly in this day and age when your expression is being really fucking compromised. Come out and say stuff. You're in a tight community whereby nobody's going to be chastising you. Nobody's going to be trolling you. We all got our shit and our crosses to bear. We want to know what it is that makes you tick. And so when you say that, then that is the natural progression, Tom. As a younger person, you're coming in now to your early, 26, 4 years to 30. 30 is where maturity really starts, and then 40 is another level, and then 50 is another level. And so you've got these exciting levels to actually come about in your life, but you're starting off on the right foot now, whereby you're talking about how you're interacting this world and how you're feeling and negotiating your way through it. And so I personally will look forward to seeing the videos that you do, because I love the way you convey shit. Don't hold back on stuff and just fucking say it within reason. Maybe I've said too much in the past, and of course on many occasions I have said too much, because it's been too blunt, it's been too in your face. People don't want to know about the terrifying aspects and all the things, the controls that the forces have got over you when you think you're a human being and you think this is the real fucking world,
Yeah, definitely. But it's like you said, it's so important to express yourself, because that's something that society just wants to depress. And even look at depression. It's the highest it's ever been in recorded history. It's fucking insane.
And nobody wants to talk about it.
They're not expressing themselves, and they just, here, take this antidepressant. This will make you feel better.
Yeah, just take this, and go away, and don't fucking talk about it. And if somebody that's suffering from some sort of anxiety or depression, if they mention it in their social circles, then they kind of like get outcast. It's like, ooh, there's
something must be wrong with you.
There's or you're faking it, or you want attention, you're feeling sorry for yourself, you don't want to pull your weight or snap out of it, and all this sort of thing. There is no education in place to help people understand the deep-rooted emotional facets of the human being. All it is on a face value, and even more, of course, these days, it's just so superficial. It's just pictures on a fucking phone. And that's how people express themselves.
Yeah, and I think we've got sold the bullshit that it's like there must be something wrong with you if you're feeling sad, or if you're feeling depressed, or if you're feeling anything but happiness. Do you have a headache? Well, better take a painkiller. Oh, do you feel this? Well, you better fix it right now. And this is like, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel angry. Like these are all very important human emotions that we go through, and we need to know how to work with these things.
Yeah, to recognize them for what they are, because, like you say, all they want to do now is give a pill. And the American DSM manual, the Drugs and Symptoms manual, or Diagnostic Symptoms manual, is growing exponentially every year, and it's becoming enormous now. And all they're doing is every single facet of the human being, they're considering it an illness.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
There's going to be a fucking pill for over happiness. If you are, expressing yourself, if you're laughing when people think it's inappropriate, that person's obviously got a condition. They need a pill to suppress that.
Yeah.
And so the world is being driven towards this automated creature, which is completely unresponsive to life. Only responding to this bullshit. That's all. And so it's incredible. And so to get back then to where you consider that you may be going forward with this, I for one will be looking forward to videos depicting such a thing. And this is what we speak about on our new site. And Lord knows, I've spoke about all the facets of what it is to be human being with all my videos from the very beginning. And I've been screaming at people, what the fuck's wrong with you? Hello, are you alive? Are you fuckers dead or what? What is going on with you? I mean, just say something to me. Call me all the biggest cunts under the sun, if that's how you want to express yourself. But please, express yourself. Don't just sit there,
say something,
glazed eyes, clicking from one video to the next. Involve, get involved and say something.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm looking forward to see where this journey is going to take us, I suppose. I'm just a guy just trying to figure out some shit, and then I just report what I find, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's it. So you go through life like the typical philosopher, and you cognize certain things about what's going on, and then you speak about it. And this is a beautiful facet, isn't it? And like I say, it's not done much these days. And so in Australia, it started being a prison colony of Great Britain. And it's
British convicts. That's our roots.
Yeah, but it's gone from strength to strength now, because it's absolutely become a prison that is so overt. It's so in your face, and it's kind of like getting second to America with the levels of suppression. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, the conformity here, I think it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Because like even if you look at the roots of this country, and or inmates, let's say, and then one person speaks out and then they all get punished. So it's like, exactly. I think that's ingrained in our psychology. Like, if you stand out, all your friends just pull you down. Like, no, don't do that, don't do that. Like, I feel, even if it's something like wearing a different hat because, I don't know, whatever, you've never worn that hat before, and then all your mates just give you shit. Like, oh, what are you, faggot? How are you going to fucking... And you just get a lot of shit just of being different. And it's not even wearing like an extravagant hat. It's just because you've never worn that hat before. You're stepping outside the normal paradigm. So everyone's like, hey, hang on a sec, that doesn't fit. Come down here. And maybe it's like that subconscious programming that everyone's going to get punished. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the conformity here and, standing above the crowd where it's just so resisted here. And you look at the depression and the suicide rates in Australian men, especially, like, just man the fuck up, stop being a bitch, stop crying, stop doing this. Even the drug use here, like per capita, recreational drug use here is, I would say, it's pretty high up there in the world. Aussies love their drugs just to escape. And
yeah. So my daughter, who's 28 now, she just come back from a 6-week stint in Australia.
Oh, nice. Whereabouts?
Brisbane, up the Gold Coast.
That's a beautiful area. I
Yeah,
love Australia. Don't get me wrong. This is
yeah. I mean,
It's,
when I was there 29 years ago, it was a whole lot more freer than it is now. For instance, we could do whatever we wanted. I mean, this mass expanse of land hardly had any people around it, and everywhere we went, seemingly there was nobody else there. So there were no rules and regulations, and doing this and doing that. And we'll build fires on the beaches, and we'd go anywhere and do anything. But what she was telling me, that when she was there, that you can't drink beer on the beach anymore. You can't stay on the beach after 10 o'clock. You most definitely can't build any fires. And
you can't even collect rainwater without having a permit. That's how fucked up.
Exactly. What can we say? They're taxing the fucking water that comes down from the heavens. Man. Yeah. I mean,
it's crazy.
It is. And so David Icke speaks a great deal about Australia, and
does he? Okay.
Yeah, he recently did some shows there, and they tried to stop him from entering. And one of the ways they tried to stop him was a massive influx of bureaucracy. The Australian immigration sent him a pile of papers this thick, and he fucking showed it in one of his videos. All of the stuff that he's got to fill out to comply. And, it's just absolute bollocks. But they want to do everything in their power without being seen to be a fascist state to stop this freedom of speech. And in actual fact, in my home city in the UK, which is incidentally is David Icke's home city, he comes from the same place. And so he was going to be doing a show there very recently. But what actually happened is the police sent the organisers of the venue almost a threatening letter saying that we think there's going to be riots because this person is very controversial, this, that and the other. So they cancelled the show. And so this is happening in many, many places. And
so he didn't end up performing in Australia? No, they cancelled it.
No, he did in Australia, but this was in the UK that where our police, stifled the fucking thing. And so when you look at the suppression now in relation to the amount of YouTube sites that were taken down, thousands in recent times, the amount of suppression going on with postmodernism, the whole proverbial bucket of crab scenario, which you just spoke about, whereby nobody wants to stick the head up because you're going to cause trouble, you're going to bring attention to us, and so they pull you all back down into this level of mediocrity and conformism. And so this is the thing these days, that
just for being different.
We're going to be really confronted with this on a massive level.
And the mentality is like insane. Like in Melbourne, like in particular, if you don't do drugs or if you don't drink alcohol, people look at you like you are fucking weird. There must be something wrong with you. Like the mentalities now, especially with the youth. I sound like an old man saying, "Oh, the youth these days," but so I don't know. It's getting more strict. Like the laws, even things like vaporizers with nicotine got banned or something. I don't know, maybe if it got reversed, but even that got banned. But then cigarettes, we have the highest cigarette tax in the world by far. Like one packet of cigarette costs like $30 these days.
Fucking hell.
It's crazy. And they're banning, but it's just silly laws. Like there was this dude who I'm actually going to interview who got a 25-year jail sentence for a small possession of magic mushrooms in New South Wales. This is recent times. He even got sent to all these maximum security prisons, and the sentence was worse than rape, murder, having heroin, meth, and just things like that. And now he's a fugitive of New South Wales, and the only reason he got out because of a medical thing. But just shit like this, like you think of these laws as so archaic and like, wow, they're still in place today.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can look at it from some sort of ill-informed, archaic perspective, whereby it's naive that these things are bad for you. But when you get into it, when you get into the depths of the level of control that's going on this globe, it isn't archaic. It isn't their lack of knowledge about this stuff. They know exactly why they're banning it.
Right.
And it's because it gives us an insight into their bullshit. It opens up the human consciousness. And the last thing they want is an open human consciousness. And this is why the whole program is to close down the human consciousness, to make you so afraid, to make you such a conformist, to make you such a mediocre, automated following creature, you know, the whole proverbial sheeple. This is what they want. They don't want anybody coming out with ideas which are over and above the ones that they want. And so in recent times, in the UK, there was a bill going through Parliament whereby they wanted to ban anything that's psychoactive. But it never went through because coffee goes into that category. Cigarettes go into that category because
alcohol.
Alcohol, because all these things, they change the physiology of the mind, and so they're psychoactive, and so they couldn't do that. But absolutely, that they want to suppress any ascension of the human spirit. And so when you say that in Melbourne it's frowned upon by the most people if they're not doing drugs, what sort of drugs are you speaking about? Are you talking about psychedelics? Everyone's doing psychedelics, or
No. Everything but psychedelics.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so what they're doing is that they're doing everything to dull their mind down, to put them into a position whereby they don't care anymore. It's just that I want to get my fucking head done in. I want to get outside my head. I'm going to get out my head tonight. And so you go and drink, 20 tinnies, and you smoke some spliffs, and then and then, you've got some respite from this suppression that they know is going on around them, if only on an unconscious level. But they're doing it wrong, you see. What they want to be doing, they want to be taking DMT, they want to be taking psilocybin or acid or something, because that will bring them out of their stupor and they will stop killing themselves, which is the objective of the state. They want you to do that. They want to get rid of you.
In the right context, though, because there's a massive, I don't know what you want to call it, like a psychedelic fiend kind of community here in Australia where people just get fucked up on magic mushrooms, acid, all the psychedelics, but they're using it in an unconscious way and they're just using it towards the destruction. There's a huge, because mushrooms, for example, in Melbourne, they grow everywhere. Right. Like the season's going to start like next month and I could probably just walk around and pick heaps myself if I wanted to. So the access is there. But yeah, I guess it depends on your intention and how you use it. But I have met a lot of people that just get fucked up. Like they use acid and mushrooms as if they were getting fucked up on, speed or ecstasy or whatever it is. Yeah.
So they're taking it out of the wrong mental state, really. And if they're taking it with alcohol, and if they're taking shrooms as a party thing, then all it's going to be doing is distorting their mind and distressing them, probably because they're in a fucked up state to start with, and so
I've heard horror stories. Going
to be having an adverse effect on them because they're not giving them the spiritual respect that they require. But I can't help thinking
our government as just another drug. You know what I mean? Like they don't look at psychedelics as like this profound tool from the gods that can expand your consciousness. It's like, no, it's just another drug to trip out, whatever.
Yeah. So let us look at finalising this video over this next 15 minutes so they don't get too long. But if we can just sort of end it on your peer group, your friends and family, what sort of mental state are they in? Are you almost completely isolated like most of us are in relation to the spiritual development?
Yeah, my family, with my family, I'm definitely like the psychedelic sheep, so to speak. And like, for example, I was like the first musician to come out of my family, the first person to like delve deep into psychedelics and to really break out and want to live life according to my values and not do the thing that everyone's doing.
Yeah.
So in that case, I was already isolated when it came to that. And obviously when it came to psychedelics and all this, it just further isolated me. And at the beginning of the journey, I resented a lot of my family and all that kind of stuff. But now it's all love. Like I understand that they're doing the best that they can at the state of consciousness that they're at. It's just when I'm at the dinner table, I'm not going to bring up psychedelics and all this stuff that I'm into. I'm just going to talk about stuff that they're into. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, this is
instead of clashing egos for what? Like, you know what I mean? You've only got one family. You might as well just connect with something that you do find in common or something, you know?
exactly. And this is something that we all have to address at some stage in our development. Because in the early days, you're so full of it and you want to talk to people about this and that and you want to enlighten them and you want to wake the whole world up. But when we get a bit longer in the tooth, we realize that this isn't ever going to happen. And so what you do is then you do what you do. You go back to your family and you engage as the person that they've always known and want. And you don't show them the face of this other person that you are, the enlightened being that knows about this and that and's had all these experiences. You know, the one that's been out of Plato's cave. You're the one that's been out and you've gone back in and you've been trying to shake them, but you can't shake them. So what you do is you sit down and you watch the shadows on the wall, just the same as they do. This is the thing that we have to do if we want to retain a relationship with a close family and some of our friends. You have to go back to being the person you was before. If you can't do that, it's acting. If you can't act that position, they'll resent you. And like dogs in a pack, they'll start to think you're different and they'll start to attack you.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to just work within their realm. You know what I mean? And then every once in a while, you can drop a little bit of a knowledge bomb here and there. But yeah, it's all good. There's no point trying to get all flustered over like trying to get your point across to them. Because then it's all ego. You're just trying to convince them of your point, right?
Yeah.
And there's no point really doing that. Yeah, so with family these days, I have a amazing relationship with everyone, and it's all love because now I have that deep empathy of like, no, they believe in what they do because I don't know, their life decisions got them to this point, and that's just a state of consciousness. It's not that I'm above them; it's just a different world. That's all. It's just a higher vantage point.
Yeah, from the very beginning then, you've been the black sheep of the family. You were destined to leave the cave. And so if you look at that then, you say to yourself, well, okay, I was destined to do that. And so I've done that. They weren't destined to do it. Otherwise, they would have done it. So it's not my job to awaken them, enlighten them or whatever. You then express yourself via your YouTube channel, because this is what we have to do. I think for the greater part, people that have had such profound experiences, they need to tell it to somebody. And if you look around your vicinity, then all you're going to do is lose friends if you try to tell it to them. And so therefore, then you find your avenue and you do this YouTube thing. And this is what I've done. And so one of the questions I want to ask you is, do you find that the vast majority of your videos have been kind of like from a selfish perspective, in that they have been cathartic to you? Because this is what I can say open-heartedly, what I've done. I've expressed myself throughout this past 5 years. I've been needing to do it, because if you don't express yourself, then you'll get fucked up. You'll become ill. And so to express yourself, other than standing in front of the mirror or, going into the woods and reciting all these things, and, you may even consider you're fucking crazy yourself. You have a portal. And so you're speaking to a camera. It's the same thing. You're not speaking to anybody. You're just getting it off your chest. But when you record it, at least you have the facility then to put it out into the world. So you can say to yourself then that you're doing it for the benefit of other people, which I think is a 50-50 thing. I've always wanted to help people, but also, without a shadow of a doubt, it's been 50% catharsism for me. And so, you
100% agree with you. Yeah, because of course, like one of my big intentions is to serve others, but in serving others, you need to fill your own cup as well and give from the overfill. That's just as important. You need to take care of yourself as well. And it is a very cathartic experience. And sometimes I have a lot of ideas bouncing around in my mind, and it just keeps ricocheting within my mind until I kind of get it out. And then I move on, and then I don't even think about that topic for a while, and I just move on to another thing.
Precisely. And this is what I've done with all of my videos. I'd get up in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden I'd have a whole video come into my psyche, and I'd like, I'll think about it a little bit. I think, okay, I'll remember that. I'm going to go back to sleep now, and I can't sleep. So it's like, fucking hell, okay, get up at 2:00 in the morning. I'll get the camera, and I'll make the video, because that's when it's been channeled to me, seemingly. And so when we have all these thoughts, and then, like you say, that they fill your head up, and they won't go away until you've released them. And so by releasing them, like you've just said, you won't think about it anymore. You've said it. It served its purpose. You've been the channel for the universe to speak through. You've got the word out there. It's now into the ether. It's there for anybody that has ears to listen to.
Yeah, all right.
And you've done it. Yeah, you've done your bit. And I think,
and I think that recording video is a really cool medium for me, because, you know, I like to express myself, and writing just doesn't do it for me as much as I really tried to get into writing, but I just prefer to speak.
Yeah, me too.
You can convey a lot more with the tonality, your body language, and it's my favorite medium. Like, I prefer watching videos than I would reading books. I do both. Like, I try to do as much as I can, but I just prefer the video medium.
Yeah, and this is me
portray a lot more.
If I've got any skill, then it's some sort of level of articulation, some sort of level of expression where I can reach people. And so if it comes naturally, it obviously does to you. You do it very well. And so therefore, then it gives a lot more to people than just text. And so I can't do text. If I try to express myself in text by writing it, I write the first line and then, oh, that's not right. I'll write it again. I'll be in a never-ending circle of
constantly self-editing.
Doing all that. But when you've said it, that's just the way it is. You've said it.
Yeah.
And I'll look back on my videos after, maybe 6 months, and I'll go, fucking hell, did I know that? Did I say that? And how did I, put those words together, or those sentences? I look at it, and I'm entertaining myself by looking at me, because it seems so new to me. And so it's kind of like, I've considered that it's not me, whatever me is, that's doing this. I'm just the portal through it. So, final question then. With your close friends, mate, how many of those partake in your particular variety of journey?
I have a few close friends who I've been mates with for a long time, and a couple of them I've had my very first mushroom journey, which kind of brought me on this path. Now, due to my more extreme personality, when I get into something, I go all out. Like, fuck, I had an ayahuasca experience and started this whole YouTube channel just because of how much I wanted to express it.
Yeah.
So, of course, I went a bit further in the spiritual, esoteric realm, but a lot of my close friends have that deep understanding, and I'm grateful to have them, for sure. Like, they still, most of them have their job and stuff like that, and they want to get out of the matrix, but I think many of them don't take enough action, or maybe not have that strong enough desire to really get out of it. Whereas me, it's like, I have no choice. I don't want to have that life. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It just doesn't align with my personality structure. Ever since I was young, I hated school. I hated studying courses. I hated every job that I had. I just hated everything about it. It just disgusted me. For me to be in that, it just didn't fit. Again, my life probably would have been a lot easier if I could be 100% happy and fulfilled just working at a normal job. And I'm sure there are jobs out there which are amazing. Maybe I just got unlucky and just had shitty factory retail jobs, dealing with shitty people, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think there's a great allegiance with all of us that are doing this, because we are like, square pegs, and they're trying to put us in a round hole, and it's never fit. And when I was at school, I was expelled from every school I went to. I was expelled from 8 schools. That in the end,
Were you a rebel?
Absolutely. Because I just didn't want to comply with their bullshit. I thought, I've got my own ideas about how my life's going to be. what the fuck, sitting in for hours and hours and hours listening to your bollocks? No, I want to go out into the nature, and I want to experience the world. And I started doing my own entrepreneurial businesses when I was like 9 years old. You know, I'd be selling anything and everything, like building go-karts in the village and selling them to my mates, and then buying old push bikes up and cleaning them all up and doing some repairs on them and selling them back out again. Finding golf balls at the local golf ball, selling them at school. Then I went to work in a pub at 15 and I was nicking the beer and the fags, and I was supplying everyone's parties needs, you know. And so all this sort of stuff. I was, you know, had my own ideas from a very early age. And so this is the thing with what we're doing. And so do your friends watch any of your videos? Do they take an interest? Do they engage with you? Like, do they watch this one video and go, you know what you were saying here, I found that really interesting, or this, that, and the other? Or do they just can't engage?
Right. No, they don't. No. Yeah.
This is the thing.
Yeah. So it's not on that level where it's like I'm hanging out with people and we go on this upward creative spiral and magic happens. It's not that. Like, they're old friends and I enjoy hanging out with them. Maybe I need a balance of like another group, because that does fulfill like a certain part of myself. Like, you know, maybe I wouldn't want to only hang out with people who like watch all my videos, and maybe, you know, it's nice to have a break and just, you know, talk about the latest movie that comes out or whatever, and not always be in existential philosopher mode. But no, some of my close friends, I can have very deep conversations that they get it, but maybe not on the same level that I've gone through. Yeah.
And so I don't know whether that's, you could attribute that to your age, but I found that when you get older, you have less tolerance for doing that. It's difficult, mate. It becomes more and more difficult because you cannot help but analyze every single thing they do and say. You can see all the programs. You can see that they're just a fucking program. And it's like, my God, they've got no idea. And so you kind of like, geez, I mean, I can't tell them about it. I can't say anything about it. They're not going to understand it. Or it's just frustrating for me. And so me and the people I mix with, most of us are very insular people. And the only interaction we have is the cyber interaction, because all the people around us, it's just, hello, mate, how you doing? Yeah, you know, go and buy something from the shop. And that's where it ends. And so if we want to, it's bizarre, man. I'm telling you, if we want to nurture our soul, then this is why we've created these communities, to have this, this level that teaches us, touches us so deeply and profoundly.
People that get it, like really get where you're coming from. It's really cool. Yeah.
So on that note then, we'll finalize these two videos. Really enjoyed speaking to you, mate. Thank you very much.
Pleasure coming on. Thanks for having me on and inviting me.
You're welcome. And so I will put your link to your channel in the description on this video. And at some stage, if you feel the inclination that you want a philosophical debate, if you just like, oh, you got to have that certain something, then I'm always up for it. And, you know, there'll be quite a few people on the site that would be up for it as well, because we're all, you know, very, very similar in our outlook and disposition. And
that could be really useful, because just talking to someone else that has a different perspective can help you hone in and like, oh, I don't know, maybe you think a certain way and then you kind of maybe missed a little bit where someone else is like, I don't know, there's a hole in that argument. And then that helps you kind of refine it. And it's really cool. Yeah.
Exactly. So just to talk, philosophize, because you fill in all the little gaps. And this is what myself and, you know, my little team have been doing. We incessantly speaking and just saying, what do you really think about kind of like, everybody not being human? And then we'll call upon all of the videos that we've been privy to, all of the people we've spoken to, where we've heard it, and then we'll look at how it fits with us. And then we'll say, well, okay, I mean, we obviously can't prove it, because if you go and, you cut one of them and open them up, it's not all wires and silicon chips in there. It's flesh and bone. You know what I'm saying? And so where else do you look then? If you open up their brain and you go, are you fucking human? Then they're going to have a brain the same. And so you say to yourself, well, what is it then? What is it that makes them not human? There's something.
It could be a consciousness thing.
It's
like
a consciousness thing.
Maybe the driver, their consciousness got hijacked by another entity. So then the physical vehicle is still human, but
now you're getting there. Now you're getting there, Tom. That was it. You see, the consciousness has been hijacked, or whether indeed they ever had a level of consciousness that we have. You see, are you familiar with Westworld?
Yes, that series freaked me out after a while. Like, damn,
Okay, then. So Westworld. Then this just could be a Westworld. And so I'll leave you with that thought. And this is the sort of thing that we're talking about in our community. So we'll just say goodbye to the viewers, and then I'll stop recording, and then we'll just have a little chat on our own for 5 minutes, if that's all right.
Sweet. All good.
So nice speaking to you, Tom. Bye for now.
All good. Peace out, guys.